I was drifting towards sleep when my phone vibrated on the nightstand. A message from my neighbor lit up the screen. "Don't go downstairs. Stay in your room." A knot tightened in my chest. The words hung heavy in the still air of my bedroom. I stared at them, unmoving, trying to make sense of what I was reading. My thumbs typed back, "Why?" But no response came. Then I heard it. Footsteps. Slow, deliberate. Each one pressing against the wooden floor of my living room. The sound was unmistakable. Too familiar. But I was supposed to be the only one here. I slipped out of bed, the chill of the floorboards biting at my bare feet. I eased my door open just enough for the hallway light to creep into the darkness. The steps had stopped, but silence clung to the walls like something alive, something waiting. It wasn't an empty quiet. It felt as though it was watching me. My throat tightened, but I didn't call out. Instinct told me that would be a mistake. Instead, I stood frozen, straining to listen, forcing my muscles still. If someone was in my house, I needed to know who, and why. When daylight finally crept through the curtains, it carried with it a fragile sense of safety. Downstairs, my wife was pouring coffee, her movements calm and unshaken. She stirred sugar into her cup with an easy rhythm, as though nothing unusual had happened in the night. I studied her carefully. Her hair fell across her face in the same careless way it always did. She didn't look rattled. She didn't look like a woman who had spent the night hearing phantom footsteps. The question hovered on my tongue. "Did you hear anything? Were you downstairs?" But I swallowed it. Instead, I measured the silence between us. That's when I noticed her phone on the counter, face down. It buzzed once, then twice. She ignored it. When she stepped out of the room, I turned it over. A name I didn't recognize filled the screen, followed by 3 brief messages. Intimate. Too intimate. My stomach twisted. She returned, and I placed the phone back exactly as it had been. She smiled, offering me coffee. I accepted, sipping slowly, my eyes fixed on the curve of her lips as they formed that practiced smile. A smile that concealed more than it revealed. I said nothing. But that night, when her breathing grew steady with sleep, I unlocked her phone. Scrolling through the messages, I read words that didn't belong to me. Words that should have been mine. Then one message stopped me cold. Last night felt risky. He almost heard me. The footsteps. The air left my lungs. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead, I started watching, quietly gathering. The pattern became clear within days. Sudden errands late at night, showers at odd hours, her wrist tilted just so to shield her phone. I copied numbers from her contacts and ran them through private searches at work. One belonged to a man just 2 streets away. Married. 2 children. I drove past his house once and saw her car parked discreetly nearby, half hidden from view. My chest felt hollow, but my expression never shifted. That's when I ordered a DNA test. Not for me, for our daughter. The thought struck me with a cruel clarity. Her eyes weren't mine. They were his. I had ignored it for too long. I sent off the test in silence. Nights stretched into brittle hours. I lay beside her, her warmth pressed against me like a lie. I memorized the rhythm of her breathing, the way she instinctively turned away from me in her sleep. I became 2 men, the husband she thought she still controlled, and the one carefully weaving the rope that would hang her truth. The results came in a thin envelope on a Tuesday. Final. Unforgiving. I opened it slowly, as if hesitation could soften the blow. It couldn't. The truth was stark. Our daughter wasn't mine. I stared at the figures, the undeniable percentages. My pulse steadied, oddly calm. That night, over dinner, I slid the envelope across the table. She looked down at it, a nervous laugh breaking from her lips. "What's this?" "Open it," I told her. Her fingers shook as she unfolded the paper. I watched her face collapse, her attempt at a smile crumbling into something raw and exposed. You tested her," she whispered. "Yes." The silence that followed stretched long and suffocating. Then tears came. Apologies. Excuses. Pleas for forgiveness. I sat unmoved, my voice steady, my eyes dry. When her sobs quieted, I leaned forward. I know about him. The man 2 streets away. I know where you've been. Her mouth fell open, shock written across her features. She hadn't expected precision. She hadn't expected me to already be 3 steps ahead. I pulled my wedding ring from my finger and set it on the table. It sat there between us, cold and final. You wanted another life, I said softly. Now it's all yours. Her face broke. She reached for me, but I pushed my chair back, detached and unyielding. I won't destroy you publicly, I continued. That would almost be merciful compared to what's ahead. She froze, eyes wide, the weight of uncertainty pressing in. She wouldn't know what I had told, or what I would do next. I stood and left her with her tears, her guilt, and the ruin of her carefully constructed mask. I didn't move out immediately. That was part of it. I stayed, sharing her table, lying in the same bed. Silence became my sharpest weapon. She never knew if I had already acted, or when I would. Each day, she withered. Apologies turned to paranoia. Paranoia grew into fear. Fear bled into desperation. I never shouted. I never raised a hand. I never forgave. I only watched. By the time I finally walked out weeks later, she was already a shell of herself. I closed the door quietly behind me, without regret. Because sometimes revenge isn't fire. Sometimes it's ice. And I had frozen her world completely.